Nathan Vega has always been a troubled person, in and out of foster homes. The 22-year-old had no way to avoid being kicked out of his parents' house and fired from his job, so he was supposed to move into a group home for vulnerable people. This group home was for people with mental illnesses, developmental disabilities, or at risk of homelessness. It wasn't the type for kids. Nathan hated it there. He hated the early dinner time at 4 o'clock. He hated the staff. But he did make one friend there. Her name was Deandra Peterson, and she was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. Nathan and Dee Dee, as everybody called her, did everything together. Played games, ate meals, and went for walks. Now, a year has passed, and Nathan met a new friend who had just come in the previous day. His name was Malcolm. Over the next couple of weeks, he and Malcolm did more things together, until one day, Deandra and he listened to his favorite rapper, Data and the Androids. Data was rapping about one of his friends who ditched him for a girl. Then Deandra said, "That's kind of like us, don't you think, little Nathan?" Nathan looked at Deandra, not knowing what to say. He said, "The androids are still my friends, and I can have other friends I can hang out with." The fight went on for hours and hours until the police came and had to break it up. Nathan was so stressed out that night. The previous morning he noticed something. He had wet his bed. He woke up around 10 o'clock. He was unsure what to do. He went to his drawer and grabbed a garbage bag. "Oh no, I can't be a bedwetter," he said to himself. "I remember they did that to Keith. Also, I went to the White House today, and one of the residents..." And he kept on talking to himself. "I don't want them to put me in diapers. That would be the most embarrassing thing." A whole day has passed, and he barely even thought of it throughout the day. Finally, the night has arrived. As he walked to bed, he didn't remember it. Then Deandra said to him, "You better not have another accident, Nathan, or they're going to put you in diapers like Keith." "Thanks," Nathan said. Nathan was annoyed at her comment. Why did she say that? He forgot about it till now. Anyway, it was just a once-in-a-blue-moon type of thing. But it's his friend Deandra reminding him. He goes to bed as usual, hoping it doesn't happen again. But the next coming morning, much to his dismay, it happens once again. "Oh crap," Nathan says to himself, taking off his wet pajamas. As he steps a minute into another garbage bag, he hears a knock on the door. It's Deandra. "Let me come in just a minute," Nathan says. He panics, puts on a pair of pants backwards, shoves the wet clothes into the closet, and opens the door. "What's up, Deandra?" he says. Deandra, suspicious, asks, "What's going on in here?" "Nothing, but I gotta go," Nathan says. "Me and Malcolm are going for a walk. We'll go check out tacos and tequila," he tells her. "You know you're not supposed to have alcohol when you live here," Deandra replies. "Here, I need to go." "Yes, I know, but I'm going to have some tacos." Nathan pushes Deandra out of his room, thinking to himself that was a close one. Later that day, he and Malcolm were having tacos, but all Nathan could think about was what happened the previous night and how he peed in his bed. As they left the restaurant and paid the bills, Malcolm said, "I'm going back to the house." "Okay," Nathan says. "I'll be a while." Nathan sits in the restaurant and thinks about what happened. "Oh God, I don't want to be diapered like Keith," Nathan thinks as he walks home, walks by a thrift shop, talks in, looks around, sees an old AM/FM radio alarm clock and gets a wonderful idea. He purchases the F1 AM radio alarm clock combination. The cashier puts it into the baggie, and he walks back to the home. It's just in time for dinner. They are having Salisbury steak, Keith's favorite. Deandra sits at the second table. They eat. Deandra begins to make jokes. Meanwhile, the residents talk about how they are happy to go to the pool tomorrow. Deandra says, "Nathan needs to wear floaties. Maybe he needs to wear his floaties to bed." "Very funny," Nathan replies sarcastically. But Deandra continues, "You know, Nathan likes to show Star Trek, The Next Generation. His favorite characters will wake up because he's number one." Nathan says, "I think I'm finished," and takes his dish, puts the rest in the fridge. Nathan is sitting on the couch, upset about what has transpired at dinner. It's about 7:30. Keith is watching Jeopardy, and Esther and Brittany, two of the staff members, get Keith. They whisper, "Is it time to put on your nighttime underwear?" Nathan knew what that was. Keith gets up. They go into the office room. Keith comes out in pajamas and a little bulky thing under them, the diaper. Nathan thinks to himself, they're not going to put me in diapers. He even sees part of the diaper poking out of Keith's pajama pants. Determined to avoid a similar fate, Nathan goes upstairs and gets set up. He takes his new alarm clock and sets it up. He sets it on the lowest alarm volume so as not to wake up the other residents and sets it to wake him up every 4 hours after he goes to bed, figuring that this will help prevent him from wetting the bed. Everything is set up. The alarm clock is in place. Then Nathan does his chores, brushes his teeth, and gets ready for bed. In the middle of the night, the alarm goes off, waking up everybody in the home. One of the employees walks in, looks at Nathan, and sees that despite the alarm, Nathan's bed is extremely wet. He had an accident. Nathan is embarrassed. They caught him. Was it diapers for him? End of chapter 1. Peter and Heather, 2 dedicated staff members of the group home, found Nathan lying in bed completely soaked. Heather, with a gentle demeanor, crouched down and whispered softly into Nathan's ear. "It's okay, honey. It's okay. We're here to help you get cleaned up." Despite her kindness, Nathan felt a wave of embarrassment wash over him, and her tone, though well-intentioned, made him feel infantilized. Peter, noticing Nathan's discomfort, tried to lighten the mood. "I think it's best if you take a shower, bro. Don't worry, we'll keep this between us. We won't tell anyone." Heather nodded in agreement, adding reassuringly, "Don't worry, honey. We will talk more about this in the morning." Reluctantly, Nathan walked down the hallway in his wet pajamas. Curious heads peeked from rooms along the corridor. Gary, Tim, and Jesse watched, concerned about the commotion. Peter sternly told them, "Put your heads back in and go back to bed now." Nathan deposited his wet clothes in the hamper next to the garbage pail, catching a glimpse of one of Keith's used diapers. A chilling thought crossed his mind. I hope I'm not next. After a soothing shower, Nathan returned to his room feeling somewhat refreshed but still troubled. Peter entered with 2 cups in hand. "Hey, bro," he greeted, trying to keep the atmosphere light. "I got something that might help you sleep." He handed Nathan a small blue pill and a half-filled cup of water. "I didn't want to fill it up all the way, all things considered," he explained. Grateful yet uneasy, Nathan swallowed the pill, the minimal water barely enough to wash it down, and soon fell back into a restless sleep, the embarrassment of the night weighing heavily on him. The next morning around 10 o'clock, Esther, the head of the staff, opened Nathan's door gently and woke him. "We need to talk with you. Can you please come downstairs?" Her tone was serious yet caring. Nathan, feeling sluggish and embarrassed, dressed in shorts and a shirt, dreading the impending discussion and how she might explain his situation to other residents. As he walked past Malcolm, who offered a quiet, "What's up, Nathan?" Nathan barely whispered a reply, his mind preoccupied with the previous night's events. He then proceeded to Esther's office. She closed the door behind them for privacy, her expression solemn. "So, it looks like you had a little bit of an accident last night," Esther began delicately, trying not to exacerbate Nathan's embarrassment. "I want you to know that I'm not mad or upset with you. These things happen, and we've already made an appointment for you to see the doctor." Nathan nodded, his eyes downcast. Esther continued, "Unfortunately, here at the Gates Community Residence, we have a policy. This was your second incident, and our rule is if someone wets their bed 3 times, we typically recommend they wear a special type of underwear." Before Esther could finish, Nathan blurted out, "I'm not wearing diapers outside of this house." He stood up abruptly and walked out to the backyard, sitting alone at the picnic table. "Oh God," he muttered to himself. "What have I gotten myself into? Why is this happening to me?" A few moments later, Pete joined him, sitting quietly at the opposite end of the table. "I want to tell you a little story about when I was a kid," Pete began, his voice calm and empathetic. "My parents used to fight a lot, all that type of stress. It caused me to wet the bed, but that was back then. Nowadays, we have lots of stuff that can help." Nathan listened, the shame gradually subsiding as Pete shared his own experiences. "But there's no way I'm wearing diapers," Nathan muttered softly. Pete chuckled softly. They're not diapers, Nathan, they're pull-ups. They're like underwear, but just a bit more absorbent. Let's go inside and I'll show you. Reluctantly, Nathan followed Pete back inside. In the office, Esther waited with a kind smile. Nathan, you're not Keith. He needs a different level of care. Let me show you what we have for you. She pulled out a garment from a drawer and handed it to Nathan. This is called Independence Nighttime Underwear. Nathan inspected it. It felt like regular underwear, but with a little padding inside. It isn't going to be so bad, Nathan thought, feeling a mixture of relief and acceptance. Esther reassured him. I'm sorry this has been tough, but you're handling it well. That night, Nathan tried on. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Mommy Sarah's Story Time. If you enjoyed the stories, please support the channel by liking and subscribing. Remember, my channel is not monetized, and I write most of the content myself. On occasions when I don't, it's sourced through emails from trusted contacts. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you're able to, consider making a donation to support our channel. Your support means a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more stories with you.